Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another episode of Presley's Pod. First things first, I tried a different lighting setting on the ring light because I've gotten some notes that my lighting is absolute trash. And I feel like it's warmer, but I feel like that's gonna be bad. I also have no makeup on, and so I feel like it's already gonna kind of look not my best, but it's gonna be okay. If I could give like a little insight into Presley's life right now, it's like where Presley's headspace is, how's she doing. Today I was doing my errands around New York City and I saw someone that I knew and I in a certain location in New York City and I just kept walking. I was not in the mood to chit chat. I was not in the mood. I was really not. And I just kept it moving. I did a hard swerve when I saw them, but I played it cool, all the things. And I feel like in my neighborhood, there's a lot of outdoor dining, there's a lot of outdoor restaurants. There's one restaurant in particular that every time I walk by, I clock it from across the street and I have to be careful that I don't see anyone that I know because multiple times I've been like rolled out of bed to go do an errand or rolled out of bed, while everyone is out at night and Presley goes inside at night. But I'm like, you know what? I want an insomnia cookie. So I roll out of bed, go get the cookie, run into like four people that I know. Anyway, let's address another elephant in the room. Oh, so I'm trying to like get myself out of this headspace, but I'm also telling myself that it's okay to be in this like headspace. We don't have to be like happy, perfect Presley all the time. So let's address another elephant in the room. Okay, I'm fully aware that my hair is brown. I'm fully aware that my roots are growing, okay? They're growing and showing. And here's the thing, I should have gotten it done like last month, okay? But one, getting your hair done is expensive. Two, the best time of year for me to do it is October. Like my schedule got off by a month. I go a couple times a year, but it would be really great if I could just, for some reason, get back on track to getting it done at the beginning of October, because then that sets me up for success for the rest of my year where my hair could be bright blonde when it's necessary, okay? And so the appointment is for September 3rd. Don't you worry. You only have to see a few more weeks of this. Trust me, every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, yep, we're giving brunette. We're giving brunette. And I'm probably going to go back to brunette one day, honestly, because the blonde is really hard to keep up. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to embrace it. But I'm trying to think of the positives. Maybe it's for the best that I can let my hair just kind of do its thing for now. I don't like go in and dye it and ruin the ends that are basically already ruined. But there's only so much you can do. Okay, so we have three topics to discuss today. They involve pretty much all of my favorite topics: fashion, friends, and the 26-year-old. Okay, so let's go back in time. Let's do first things first, though, just for like a little wholesome moment. Okay, I discovered something that helped me get through a really long work week last week. And I feel like, because Presley's been working, okay? That's why Presley's Pod Instagram has been a little MIA. Presley's about to go back to work tomorrow. Like, I truly do better when I can just clock in, work, and like never see daylight and then leave and have like a few days off and then go back to it. Like, that's where I've found that if I'm just like, a constant working or like a constant kind of busy. I want to be either really busy or not busy at all. Anyway, so these days were long and the mornings were early and the nights were late, but we survived. And one thing that I did was like every morning, I was like, I need to have Presley time before I go to this work environment, because if this just becomes 7 straight days of me waking up, rolling out of bed, going to this thing, going back, I was like, I'm really going to lose my mind. So what's an extra, like waking up a half hour early? If we're already getting up at like 7, let's get up at 6:30, right? So I would go, sometimes I would treat myself to a coffee that was like from the shop across the street, and then I would go sit outside on a patio. And like, yes, sometimes I would scroll on my phone, but other times I would just tell myself to put the phone down and look at the sunrise and take a moment for yourself just to quiet your brain and get organized and get ready for the day. I also would say to myself, what's going to bring me joy right now? Like, what can I think about that can put a smile on my face, that can bring me joy? Whether it's like what I'm about to go into, whether it's like doing my makeup later to like my favorite song. There's like certain songs on Spotify rotation that I love. And I feel like when you're in a funk, literally me right now, it's like, what's going to bring me joy right now? Whether it doesn't have to solve all your problems, but just like, what's going to put a brief smile on my face so that I can get through the rest of the day. Okay. Anyway, so let's tell a little story. First topic, fashion. Okay. Oh, I'm just stressed thinking about it. So Presley is going to a wedding, and we're going to get into the wedding. Okay, don't you worry. Presley's going to a wedding mid-September. Okay, she's going with the 26-year-old, and we're all going to have fun, like Abby Lee Miller says. Okay, but here's the thing. Presley has only been to one adult, well, her previously in her lifetime, besides this year, she'd only been to one adult wedding. Okay, and I loved the dress that I wore, but now I look at it and I'm like, I can do better. So I have so, I had a vision of the dress that I wanted to wear to this wedding. Okay, I had a vision, and no one has delivered on the vision. Okay, I had a specific sleeve length, a specific style, a specific, like, all the things, right? And I have a backup plan. Don't you worry. I do have a backup plan. But I am holding out till September 1st. On September 1st, I told myself that I'm going to give up on finding a better dress. And I just can't believe that I can't find a dress anywhere, okay? So, when I was home, we were looking for two dresses. Wedding dress, wedding guest dress, and night before dress, okay? Granted, I have dresses that could work, but I was like, we can step it up. We can make this better, okay? So, when I was home, the amount of dresses that were getting delivered to the apartment, my parents, shout out, they live above a FedEx, okay? Delivered to the apartment, they would come into my room, they would exit my room, and someone would take them back down to FedEx and in and out and in and out. I know I ordered 3. I think my mom ordered like 4. They were in and out. Okay, then I ordered one for the wedding. Oh, that was 7 just for the Friday night. Okay, and then for the wedding I found this dress and I was like, perfect. The vision came to life. Found it, whatever. I put it on and I was like, it fits, but something's wrong. Like, something's telling me that this is not it. So I put it on and I'm like, okay, it fits, it's pretty, it's a pretty color, but something's off. So my mom's like, no, it's perfect. You look great. And I'm like, I don't know. Something in my gut is still telling me like it's not great. Because here's the thing. Well, two things. One, my body is just like straight. Okay. It's just straight. So sometimes I like to wear things that make it look like it's not straight. And I shout out, I have my days where I pick myself apart in the mirror, but I've done a lot of work over the past couple of years to be able to make that not an everyday experience. Okay. So when I say that, it's just that I want to feel comfortable. Okay. Me with my stomach issues, my anxiety, if I'm wearing like a tight, like, bodycon is not me, not me. And it's not because I don't feel like I can't wear a bodycon. Like, I can, obviously, I can do whatever I want, but it just doesn't look, there's other styles that look better. Okay. So this dress was giving like bodycon. I'm not like, it was very pretty. It was giving bodycon like plus a little extra. Like, there was like this extra fabric over the, like, it was really pretty, but I was like, this is not, something's off. So then the test really is showing it to a straight man, okay? So because I'm like, he granted my dad is fashionable, okay? But he doesn't know like the ins and outs of women's fashion, right? So I would do the dreaded, and I hate shopping. Like, I hate trying on clothes because I always know that like the stuff that I like doesn't look good on my straight body. Doesn't look good on my straight body, and then I have to go in there and try it on, and I get exhausted and my blood sugar drops, and I'm like, I just end up grabbing whatever I want, trying it on at home in the comfort of my own home, and then I'll just like go return it and get my steps in. Whatever. So I put this dress on, and my dad's like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. He's like, it looks good, but if I saw you wearing that to a wedding, I would wonder why you're wearing that. And that was all I needed to hear. Truly, I was like, you know what? You're onto something, because this dress isn't giving wedding. This is giving like evening gala dress. Like, there were no sparkles, okay? I'm not like an idiot. I know how to dress, but I was like, not saying the sparkles are bad. Don't come for me. But I was like, you're right, okay? I thought that because it was a lighter color, I could get away with it, but it's not. It was not the vibe. So we're going with something that I already have in my closet, and I just know that something better is out there, and I'm gonna find it, okay? And all the ads that I see on Instagram, I'm like, that's the one. I click on it, $2,500, and I'm like, yep, shout out. I have great taste, but you can't wait for the day that I can afford said taste. Anyway, let's circle back to the Friday night dress, okay? Friday night. I what did I originally want to wear? Oh, I had an idea. I like found this brand, tried it on, got another dress from said brand that was on sale. Clock it, on sale. But then I was like, this would be really pretty for the Friday night. Like, it's hugging me in all the right places. This is what I usually like to wear, yada yada. It's like flowy at the bottom, so that if I do get extremely bloated, I don't have to worry about what I look like. Great. I put it on, same thing. I was like, ugh, it's just not like, I had no idea what to wear, okay? And the invitation, let's just say one day, if and when Presley gets married, it's going to be very clear what you should wear, okay? It's going to be very clear. And that's just all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Okay. But also, you're talking to a stressor about this kind of stuff. And I feel like most people don't stress. They would just like grab a dress in their closet, whatever. But my friend gave me the best advice. She was like, if you're confused about like the invitation, and it's like very broad, that just means that you're going to see a variety of dresses, a variety of styles. So like you can get away with wearing whatever you want. So I was like, okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So I try a dress on, okay? One of the seven. Seven. Try a dress on. It is close to perfect. It's so close, okay? So the thing about this dress, the pattern, pretty, check. The bottom, flowy, but not too flowy. Could it be flowier? Yes, but I'll just have to make sure that I take my gastritis medicine, my acid reflux medicine, so my stomach acid doesn't start filling up my stomach, okay? Anyway, it's a little tight across the chest area, okay? If you know what I mean. Which, like, not bad tight, but you know when you breathe and your inhale just like stops before it usually does. So it's like I could get away with this. I could. I just won't breathe, but I could. And because the chest was tight, it was causing the straps to be a little loose, okay? But it still looked good. Don't get me wrong. It still looked good, and it still looked appropriate. It was just a little uncomfortable, okay? So we were like, I was exhausted. I'm so tired of looking for dresses, because everything that I want to wear doesn't fit the vibe, and it was just getting to be a lot. So I'm like, but here's the thing, the straps tie, but for some reason you can't untie them. It's just like tied in a bow that's sewn to the straps. So I was like, okay, we have to take this dress to go get altered. What other place do my parents live above? Shout out an alterations place, okay? So we go down there, we fix the straps. The straps had to be pulled up tighter a little bit. I was really hoping that like we would figure out how to like add some, I don't know, make the straps tight, whatever. So the straps get pulled up, which makes the top a little bit tighter. Okay. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It's one night. Like, I'll sell it on Depop after if I like really hate it and will never wear it again. But I will say this was the one that I felt the prettiest in. Like, once I put it on, I was like, this is the one. We just have to make it work. Okay. So take it to the alterations place. go back upstairs, go back to my long days of work, whatever. Monday rolls around. I'm flying back to New York City. I say, I'm going to go grab the dress. Great. I walk into the place, grab the dress. She pulls it from the back in a plastic bag from a mile away. I can see that the straps are too tight. I'm like, that's looking pretty short. That's looking a little short. So, luckily, I had the brilliant idea to go try it on upstairs. Straps are too tight. Everything's too tight. Disaster. In my head in the moment, disaster. I was already having one of those mornings where everything was just going wrong. Like, for example, I had this bottle of lotion that I kept trying to put back on the counter. And every time I set it on the counter, it somehow fell off, whether I would knock it or it just kept slipping off. And it was just one of those moments that made me want to like pull out my hair. And then I'm standing there and this dress is too tight. And I was like, I'm going to kill everybody. Literally, I'm going to kill everybody. And then here's the kicker: somehow, some way, the little bows is like, think ties, don't think bows. Okay, I'm not a child. The ties are uneven. How uneven, you ask? Okay, just by like a quarter of an inch, but enough for Presley to notice. So I almost end it all, but I decide to go back down there and tell her and try it on again, point out that the straps are uneven, the ties are uneven, say that it needs to be taken out just a little bit more, do all the things, whatever. I'm standing there with the dress on. She has her standing there, seeing it in the mirror that the ties are uneven. She pulls out the measuring tape and it's 5 inches on each side from one tie to the other. And I'm like, how is that possible? Because in the mirror right now, they're uneven. Tell me they're not uneven. Like, the way that I almost this poor woman did nothing wrong. The way that I almost lost, I was like, cancel it all, cancel it all, cancel my flight back to New York. I can't do it. I can't do any of this. Like, you know what? Just keep the dress, ma'am. Keep it. I don't want it anymore. I'm not going. So I really had to talk myself off the ledge. Okay. Okay. Talk myself off the ledge. And I say, you know what? It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. Let's just take the straps out a quarter inch and we'll move on from there. Great. Go back upstairs. I say, Presley needs a moment, okay? I go lay out, I tan, I sweat out all these demons. I shower, go back downstairs, get the dress, which, like, shout out, they did it for me that day. Put the dress back on. The dress the dress fits and the straps are a lot better. Granted, that didn't fix the tie situation, obviously, but the way that I was like picking apart this dress, I was like, I don't like when I turn around and I take an inhale, I don't like that you can see the dress stretch. I don't like that the slits, they go up, but they don't go up like high enough to be able to see my legs, if that makes sense. Like, there were little teeny tiny things, and I was taking my phone and I was zooming in on little parts of this dress, okay? Like the way that the straps hit against my skin. And I was like, it has to be perfect, okay? And if you're listening to this, you're probably like, Presley, just go get a new dress. Like, you obviously don't like this one. But the thing is, I like the dress, okay? I like the dress. I have the dress. It's hanging up in my closet, wrapped carefully in a plastic bag, okay? Or in like the drying, whatever, the dry cleaner bags. I like the dress. I'm going to wear the dress, okay? So after that fiasco, okay? So let's just talk about why I'm stressed, okay? Going to a wedding with the 26-year-old, meeting the 26-year-old's entire family, okay? So I had a virtual therapy session yesterday. I had never done virtual before, but like she had to be virtual, so I put in a hair mask and I just had 45 minutes to tell her about lots of other very important things that happened in Presley's life over the past couple weeks. I haven't seen her in a while, but what did I spend a majority of the session on? The dress, okay? The dress. So, granted, now that I'm saying this out loud, the purse that I had in mind isn't going to go with it. It's okay. Moment of silence for that purse. Great. I'll just have to wear that to the wedding. And now I need Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. You guys are, if you're watching on YouTube, like you're literally watching me have a mental breakdown right now. Anyway, luckily I have till mid-September, okay? Mid-September to figure all this out. So, and like literally in my head, I was like, guys, we'll just never understand that we have to go through all of this. And it's like the dress and the accessories, and it has to fit perfectly. And what if you're cold? What if it's hot? Like, okay. And also, just because I'm having a mental breakdown doesn't mean that I'm not excited. Okay, I am excited. So I was telling my therapist the story of the dress saga. And she goes, do you think that we're projecting? Do you think that we're projecting some other feelings onto the dress? And I was like, I was like, oh, these feelings of like, it has to be perfect, like, it has to look perfect. Like, am I the dress? And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. I think I am putting way too much pressure on this dress. And it's not about the dress, it's more about Presley is a little stressed that, she wants to show up as her best self. Let's just put it that way, okay? And my therapist was like, "Do you think that after an exciting wedding where the whole family's there, like do you think that they're going to go home and be talking about how your ties were uneven by a quarter of an inch?" And I was like, you know what? They might be. I haven't met these people. No, but I was like, I don't think so. I see your point. Okay, I see your point. I'm just going to be a blur in the background of this event. Okay, multiple events of these events. So we're going to wear the dress. Note to self to find a bag that's going to go with said dress. Note to self to find bra that goes under other dress, and note to self to find shoes for the other dress, because the shoes that I usually wear for said other dress don't go with this venue. Okay, if you know what I mean. If you're a girl, you can put two and two together. Okay, so then in therapy, the conversation turned to, well, why are you so nervous about meeting his family? Right. And I was like, yeah, like all the things, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, he's not even your boyfriend. To you, he's just like a good friend. So, like, why are you nervous? You don't even like, you don't have no label. Like, you're just friends, according to you. And then we both just started dying laughing because I was like, you're right. Like, he's not my boyfriend. Like, this is just a very good friend of mine that like I happen to go meet his parents. Like, it's fine. So then obviously that segued into the whole timeline thing. And I was like, okay, fair, but the wedding's mid-September. So what if we're boyfriend and girlfriend early September? What if we're boyfriend and girlfriend after the wedding? Okay. And she was like, oh, right, 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 because we have this timeline. We bumped up the timeline from January to September. And she was like, remind me again the difference between what you all are doing now and what you all will be doing when you're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, you know, I can't. It, I told her, but we'll save that conversation for another time. So she was like, I think you are putting this like timeline situation on this poor man to feel like you have a perception of control. Like you don't have control over this situation, but you want to give yourself the feeling like you are in control. And I was like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting. So I have been thinking about that, but then again, like September is approaching, okay? Like we've made it this far and just being very good friends. And I reminded her, and I'm going to remind you all of, I've only had one adult relationship before this. He asked me to be his girlfriend. The next morning, I woke up and I had a pit in my stomach, okay? And I didn't know what that feeling was. And that should have been a cue as to maybe I wasn't ready, maybe I was feeling a little unsettled. Then again, I now that I look back on it, I'm very proud of myself for just like jumping off the deep end. But oh, that was years ago. And like over the years, I've been very like good by myself and like I'm okay. So I just want to like make sure that if someone comes into my life, that like we're not missing obvious signs that we're gonna crash and burn, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's what was I don't want that gut feeling. So I want to feel comfortable around the person. I want to get to know the person. I want to like do all the things and then I'll be ready. And shout out to the 26-year-old because he has been a trooper, okay? He has been a trooper and I'm happy that we bumped up the timeline. Anyway, speaking of men, side note, now I know that like if September comes around and everything works out according to Presley's plan, like I know that I'll wake up the next morning feeling excited and I know that I'm not going to have like that pit in my stomach. And now I'm like more aware of you should feel excited, happy, bubbly. Like these are the feelings that you should feel. I think like uneasiness and uncertainty, we should avoid those feelings, especially right from the beginning. Anyway, so I had a friend that we have a group chat with, and she recently updated us on like the saga with this man that she's seeing, okay? Was seeing out of the blue, they ended out of the blue last week. The man sends her a picture of the restaurant that they went to on their first date. Okay. Which one crazy, crazy behavior. So she messages the group chat and she's like, what do I do with this? Like, what do I do? And this has only happened to me once when I was with said ex boyfriend, someone that was like kind of around before the ex. I basically had to tell him, like, hey, I have a boyfriend now. Like, or even when we were, I don't think my ex and I were ever exclusive. I think we were just like dating right away, which, like, no slow burn there. Okay. So I never had to be like, oh, we're exclusive or blah, blah. Anyway, I was like, hey, I have a boyfriend now. Like, you can't text me anymore, but like, thank you so much for the fun laughs, good times. Perfect. So I think like 6 months later, he did the same thing. He sent me a picture of our first date spot. And then maybe like, and I didn't respond, obviously. And then a month later, he sent me something really random. It was about, I think the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas, my favorite, my future home. They had just like redone some of the rooms or something. And he messaged me and asked me if I had been and since they'd redone the rooms and if I liked them. I was like, anyway, I digress. So, didn't respond to that one either. So, first of all, I knew for a fact that when I was with my ex, this other guy was just messaging me to see if we had like broken up yet. Like he was just trying to see if he could get me to bite on the um what's it called when you fish on the line, on the bait, on the fish hook? Yeah, he was just trying to see if he could get me to bite, okay? Whereas this situation with my friend, the details get a little blurry, but I think they like were just decided that they weren't going to be together. It was like a lot of back and forth. He wasn't ready, yet whatever. She like poured a lot into him, and like now he's messaging her this, and we literally were like, do not text him back. The group chat is called You Know What Not to Do. Okay, not is in all caps. Do not text him back. Okay, one, because you all were on track to be very serious, okay? And if he actually wanted to say, see you, rekindle the relationship, do X, Y, and Z, whatever, catch up, he'd hopefully just pick up the phone and call. He wouldn't send you a random picture with no context, okay? So let's just all, and I feel like sometimes the men do that. Like if you had a moment and then you're done, whatever, they'll send you like a little, just like a little, they're testing the waters just to see if you'll bite, okay? And my advice is do not bite, okay? He's just trying to see if like you're around and you're down. And that's all I'm going to say, okay? And if he really wanted to see you, then he would put a little bit more effort in. And don't you want a little bit more effort, okay? We need some more effort. So, I was also reminded of advice that I gave myself during my pre 26-year-old days and at the beginning with the 26-year-old. In the beginning of dating, my advice has always been, say you meet someone, you're going on dates, whatever, it's like a month in, just don't text him. Just don't. Like, let him text you, make the plans, okay? You're busy, you're doing other things. You don't need to be like, oh, look at this. This made me think of you. Or like, oh, I'm out with my friends. Like, come join us. It's like 11 p.m. Like, no, like do not, okay? And I know that that sounds absolutely insane and like and like I'm playing games. Granted, I feel like this advice is true for maybe like if you don't know it's going to be something serious. I don't know, maybe we're like in our 20s, like we just want to not play the game, but you just want to be a little bit aware, okay? We like to make the men, you got to work for it just a little bit, just a little bit, okay? And my sweet, sweet Hayden friend, whoa, I just mixed her last name and friend. My sweet friend Hayden, she said, whenever I want to text a man, I think about your voice in my head saying, do not text him. And that is my, I just want us to, I want, whoa, oh my gosh, I cannot talk, okay? I've had a water sitting next to me because I have decided that I need to cut back on the caffeine, okay? And so I will say I was not feeling great before this. I think you all saw me crashing out in the beginning. And so I opened an emergency Diet Coke that I keep in the back of my fridge. And there's a Santa Claus on it, which means it's probably been in there since December. And maybe that's why I'm like this. And I'm like not feeling great because I've been depriving myself of happiness, which is my caffeinated, yummy tasting beverages. Okay. Anyway, so, just a reminder, don't text him. And what I told my friend, where this guy sent her that stuff, I was like, that if you don't respond, that is so embarrassing for him. Roles reversed, okay? Roles reversed. Say you reach out to a guy after a long time, you haven't seen each other, yada yada, and he doesn't respond to you, like that's embarrassing, okay? That's a little embarrassing. Granted, maybe he's just respecting a new girlfriend, whatever. Maybe his phone got lost, but reminder that he is trying, like, and it's just embarrassing to him, whatever. So, this also got me thinking. For some reason, I was trying to figure out when I went on a first date with a 26-year-old. I knew it was at like some point the first week in March, but I put everything in my calendar, like literally everything. The other day, I put in my calendar for December 1st, it says, buy black maxi dress to go with. My mom gave me like a hand me down Chanel belt. Shout out. It says buy black maxi dress to go with Chanel belt for vacation. That's on December 1st, okay? So when you think that you're a type A planner, I am 10 steps ahead of you, okay? I'm 20 steps ahead of you. Anyway, so I was going back through my calendar and I was like, why did not I was like trying, I was like, okay, if I had this next morning, I probably didn't go on a date, or if I had this next morning, okay, it wasn't this date, whatever. So I was going back through my camera roll because I was like, I need to figure out when this was. Like, we're probably about to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, I would love to know what date was our first date. It was March 1st, shout out. And I found this out because I had to use some context clues, okay? But I came across a screenshot in my phone of our text messages. And I was taking my own advice very well, okay? Because I think it was a Tuesday. He said something along the lines of like, responded to what I said the night before, and then said, like, had a good day or something like that. And I just hearted it, okay? In the beginning, you don't need to be like, thanks so much. You too. Like, I hope you have a fantastic day and you work hard and you get it done. Okay, so like if that's you, I'm gonna need you to pipe down. Okay, it's because I'm in this mood, so we're getting some real talk. Okay, so if that's you, pipe down. Okay, I just hearted it. Great, hearted it. That was on like a Tuesday. Wednesday, nothing. I said nothing. So in this screenshot, it's Tuesday, Thursday, I believe. Okay, I could be wrong. But Thursday, paragraph from the man. Okay. And this is why I think I screenshotted it, because I think I sent this to Lauren and Addie and I was like, this man knows what he's doing. Something along the lines of like, hey, are you getting ready to fly to Naples tomorrow? Because I was flying to Naples on Friday. So that means he remembered that I was going on Friday. Shout out. And blah, blah, blah. And then it said something. There was another paragraph that was like, I don't think I can do this like 2 week, whoa, oh my gosh, I can't talk. This 2 week wait. Can you tell me when you're back so that I can have something fun planned for us? And I was like, uh-huh. And if he was sitting on the pod next to me right now, he would say that we didn't that like we didn't work just because I didn't text him, okay? I know he would say that, but but I didn't text him back on that Tuesday, and then on Thursday I got like that cute little follow-up with 2 paragraphs. So, I feel like, I'm not saying that's how you need to live your life for the rest of your life on this earth, but just test the waters with that advice, okay? Test the waters. Granted, eh, most people that I've been in something with have been like, I had no idea that you liked me. So, am I the best person to give this advice? No. But, you know, it all works out in the end, okay? So, one thing that I also this week I was like noticing that maybe this is why I'm in such a bad mood. At night, I was scrolling, okay? Scrolling on TikTok. And here's the thing, people are funny on TikTok. TikTok's fun, but it became a habit so easily. And I was like, I should be doing other things, okay? So I ordered some new books. I've been reading my book about stomach ulcers and like my stomach and stress situation. I've been reading it for a really long time. It's very sciency. It's like on the history of the science of that versus like, hey, here's how to solve your stress issues. But that's okay. We're getting educated. And then I ordered some more like romance mystery novels. And so I think that's going to replace my TikTok scrolling time. So if that's also your reminder, like basically don't text him and put the phone away, okay? No TikTok, no nothing. So I hope that everyone has a fantastic week. And trust me, I'm feeling better already just listening to the sound of my voice, sitting in my bed. And now I got to get back to work because Presley has work to do. So happy Sunday, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.